As you age, like getting older, exploring elder in your next 50, are you thinking about the next weeks, months, years of your life ahead? Entering your next 50 years can be exciting and meaningful, and it's filled with profound questions like, what is coming for you? I know it's a little bit of a different way of expressing this question because there's a literal and a metaphoric, figurative kind of meaning that goes with it, because it's really about this term older to elder. And from a stage of life that you're in, what's the meaning that you give to this movement of older to elder? And then if you do look at the word elder, what it's doing is suggesting the kind of role that you can take on in your community. So the question is really getting at, as you step into these older to elder years, into your next 50, what is it that you think is coming for you? What role are you going to take? What contributions are you going to make? So, what that does is it brings up the next question, which is the future chasing you? Yeah, chasing you. When I thought of this question, I had this sort of image of the future coming after me rather than me going after the future. And I was trying to figure out, okay, it's a bit of a wordplay. I get that. But I was trying to get a sense of, is there any kind of anxiousness about this movement from older to elder? Do you feel pressured or stressed? Do you need some kind of spark to really find some way in which to enter into it, to stay present and to enjoy what's unfolding for you? And so I wanted to give you a sense that you are on a unique journey and you adventure together. And when you start to take that in and really appreciate what that means for your life, you start to frame out what it means to be for the world, with the planet, and from the whole. And therefore, of the choices that are available, you can make some deliberate decisions about what it is that you want to get involved with. What kind of activities do you want to take up? The next question, this one actually came very near and dear to me because I was thinking about this notion of what happens with your free soul and your connected spirit. We have a soul that is an expression of who we are, depending on what your belief system is about and how you frame up the use of the word soul and the word spirit. But there is a connected spirit that goes out and connects with what's ever around you at the time. And this free soul has a sort of an independence to it, an individuality, sort of feeling I'm not constrained by anything. Whereas the connected spirit is giving you a sense that there's something bigger out there that I can connect with, whether it's humanity as a whole or nature, the wild kin, some sense of spiritual force, whatever your belief system is, that might connect with it. So as you're moving older to elder, do you believe that there might be a diminishing of your freedom and your individuality or your connection with something that's larger than you? Do you think that's going to happen? And if it is, what might you do about it? That's a great question to ask yourself. And the way that I did it, the way that I framed it, is I came back and I said, what gives me zest? What is it that gets my oomph going? I know they're really technical terms, life terms. Well, what is it that really would get me up and moving and doing what it is that I so enjoy doing? And I would use a word like purpose or calling when I'm thinking of my own unique journey. When I'm adventuring together, I might use words like mission and sort of see where I might be able to tap into the wisdom that I have, my knowledge and my skills, and bring it forward. And in some ways, I would say maybe even childlike or youthful in its appearance and feelings for you. So I would encourage you not to give up on this notion of your free soul and connected spirit, is actually find ways to enliven it and bring it forward in such a way that you really get to enjoy what's taking place. You have some simply serious fun, and that you're smiling, and the happiness, the grace, the hope, the faith is there with it as it's unfolding. And then this fourth question came to mind, which is, how is being from the whole influencing your decisions today? So I'm asking you to really reach out, way out there, and give a sense of that which is that much bigger than us. Well, sometimes I might use phrasing like, okay, it's about being natural, but it's also about being planetary. It's about being Solaris, out into space, and that which is even greater than what we know about, and we're learning more as time goes by. And so, considering this bigger picture is a way in which to think of, if I am going to do this transitioning from older to elder, what does that mean? Elder is holding a much bigger picture. And what is it? What meaning do you give to that? How would you frame that up? How might you share it? What words would you use to explain that sense of it? Because this holistic approach that I'm sort of tapping into here is a way to get you questioning, to bring your intrigue, your inquiry to the foreground, and keep moving forward with sort of dappling into things, into consciousness, maybe quantum physics, metaphysics, topics like that, just to sort of see what happens. And in your belief system, what are ways to reach out even further than just the written word that may be in a book in front of you? What is it that you can tap into to be able to be from the whole? And I also think of this very much from, there's an ecology in which you live, which is your relationship to others and the wild kin. But there's notion of the environmental, that bigger picture, and that could lead you to understand like the water systems, right? The clouds and how they move around, and just getting to understand more about what this planet is about, what the planet is doing in its rotation around the sun, the seasons, just ways in which to dig into the story on a much bigger whole and see where it takes you. Then I thought, would it help if I gave you a sense of some kind of activities that you might be able to jump into to understand answers to these questions? And I thought, yeah, I think that would be really great. So what I did was I came up with 5 actions that I'm going to suggest to you as a way to move forward and to see what might present itself and how you can be engaged in these kind of activities. Is I'm going to encourage you to think about, start sparkling, master new tricks at any age. I'm not saying about becoming a magician. What I'm doing is I'm saying, well, dust off those sort of brain cobwebs that you might have and dive into some playful learning. And that might take you into painting or even learning about robots. It could take you into baking some treats or learning new ways in which to create food entrees to hit the table, even if it's only by yourself. But it's really about being a lifelong learner and just really appreciating that growing is fun and getting into it and just pursuing lifelong learning. Just keep letting it happen. Be committed to this lifelong learning that you see is possible for yourself. Become a wise old owl. Share your twigs of knowledge. Okay, I'm getting a little whimsical. I appreciate that. But I'm from the first one, I'm just attempting to get to have some fun here and to bring some sense of what might be possible as you move forward. And really, with this one is consider it about engaging in mentoring and sharing what it is that you know. And you've collected some really wonderful memories and treasures, and you've had great experiences, remarkable experiences, extraordinary experiences. Why not share the wisdom of those through something like mentoring? And in a sense, you are helping youngers, maybe other olders, to learn something new for themselves. But the beauty of mentoring is you get to learn what you love to educate. You get to learn what you mentor, and you deepen and enrich it. And for me, I've been doing mentoring for many, many years, and that is certainly a true statement that I have found for myself. So, what that does then is says, okay, why not spread some kindness like confetti? Make a difference with volunteering. Over the years, I've done a lot of volunteering. I have actually worked with charitable organizations as a volunteer resource manager, working with volunteers. So I appreciate this notion of volunteering and what it does because, at its core, in some ways, caring, kindness, taking up activities that would support others, you could say it's sharing a little extra love. So the time and talents that you have, you might find ways to sprinkle that around in organizations. Now, one way obviously is you can be a volunteer mentor, but I've also found that you might find just cleaning up after activities might be a way in which to do it. I've done that in youth centers. I've run the canteen kind of idea in youth centers. I found ways in which to just be present when there's tree planting. And sometimes it may be actually just moving the shovels and the trees around, not actually planting it, but giving assistance in that way. So open up the possibilities of volunteering for yourself and see where it might take you. Another thing to do is that you may want to look at building a friendship castle. Building a sand castle. You ever thought about how a few other people building it with you might be a little fun? A little bit of fun? Maybe a lot of bit of fun? So the notion is finding your tribe and having adventures together. It's about fostering social connections and seeing where that might take you. Because you are in a unique journey. I've mentioned that, and you are adventuring together with others and friends and family, but sometimes from a solo aging perspective, you don't have the direct kin around you, or the kin are living quite far away. So, friends and indirect social groups can be something you can tap into to really feel connected with others. And just having a conversation, there's been times where I've been at a coffee shop and someone's sitting close by and they're doing some reading or whatever, and just happen to look at each other and I say hi, and so what's happening? And before I know it, I might be given the be quiet, or I get into some really great conversations with persons and find some of them are traveling, some of them are just have a day off and they're looking to just sort of have some quiet time, and we have some conversations that end up being just like a whole lot of fun. So give it a go, because I'm not asking you to turn into a complete social butterfly, but I'm asking you to figure out what might be some approaches you could use to really strengthen your friendship with others. The next one of the five is write your epic tale, document your life adventures. This is one that I'm encouraging as many people as possible to think about documenting what it is that you've done in your life, and to go so far as to create what's called legacy notes. And these might be learnings that you want to pass on to some particular persons in your life. It's sort of a way of leaving a legacy with others. And you are documenting. And if you keep track of all those legacy notes, you might find yourself creating some kind of small book. You can turn it into even a memoir. Documenting your life journey can be fun for some. There's one thing that I do know and deep in myself is I really didn't get a way to capture my parents' stories, and they lived through some very interesting times. We moved a lot, and I don't have a record of what they thought and felt. I have some photos that I've been able to find, and I will create a bit of an autobiography that includes them, but it won't be as deep and rich. So I encourage you to think about that because your friends, maybe the extended family, not direct family, that cousins and aunts and uncles later may want to take a look at the story that you have. And because you've captured it, whether writing, you could film it, photograph it. There's all different ways in which to journal, write books, document what it is that you have. But make sure that you write it or create it whatever way it is and be loud and proud about that story, that unique story. It's only lived by you. There's others that come through, but it's lived by you. So share that spark. There's something in your story that might spark others to go, wow, I hadn't thought of it from that perspective. So really what I've been attempting to do here is to get you to think about what are 5 activities to make your older to elder next 50 remarkable and extraordinary. I asked those 4 questions at the beginning. I'd encourage you to go back and watch them and then come back to the activities and listen to what it is that I gave you, some tips around those 5. And then I would encourage you to subscribe and share this video. More important, comment, put something into the comments section. This is that write something in and see what it does for us, because us is others that are watching a video, reading the comments, myself, and some of the things that you might mention. And if I find a way that we can reach out, we might be able to use those in some project that I'm creating. I have one right now. It's about ager as creator and the notion of ager as creator moving through to be an enviro creator, and how someone who's aging, older to elder, can support nature awareness projects and a legacy project I'm working on. So again, there's lots of ways we can interact. So these were just 4 questions, 5 activities. Please enjoy them. And again, please comment. I love to read and learn what your thoughts are. So take care.